right, in this video, we'll be reacting to a TikTok user's real-world result using TRT and breaking down whether or not TRT is the right choice for you. So stick around to the end to find out 3 tips you can try before having to do TRT. I'm Dr. Alex Spinoso, CEO and founder of Genesis Lifestyle Medicine, where we help you reverse aging and stay young as long as humanly possible. If you're new here, make sure to click that subscribe button and like the video for that YouTube algorithm. Check out all the links mentioned in this video in the description. Today we'll be talking in depth about TRT, reacting to a real-world experience and results, and whether this will be right for you. TRT, or testosterone replacement therapy, is testosterone that's injected or used via creams or pellets when a patient actually doesn't produce testosterone anymore. So what we're doing is replacing it, helping the body's metabolism and normal balance function of their hormones. I'll be reacting to this TikTok user's video, breaking it down, and then diving deeper into how TRT works and how to know whether it's right for you, as well as things to try before taking TRT.
Well, I've been on TRT for 5 years. I'm going to tell you guys exactly what my experience has been, both good and bad, on testosterone therapy. Now, first and foremost, my levels weren't extremely low when I started TRT, but I had hypogonadal or low testosterone symptoms, so I looked into treatment. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because I made a lot of mistakes based on...
Now, that's one of the biggest things that people don't really talk with their providers about or don't really listen to, is the fact that he said his testosterone was low, which means probably suboptimal, and that's why he started taking TRT. So there's a bunch of other options before going straight to TRT, and let's see if he actually went through any of those before.
My physician's advice at the time that were bad pieces of advice and ultimately led me down a path where I didn't feel as good as I potentially could have while I was on TRT. The first thing I had to learn was that you shouldn't overdo it on the aromatase inhibitor. That means your estrogen blocker.
So that number one thing, aromatase inhibitor or estrogen blocker, it's usually called anastrozole, and there are various thoughts to utilizing it. However, most physicians just put you immediately on an aromatase inhibitor, dumping your estrogen. The crazy thing about that is that even males need some estrogen to get good pumps in the gym, actually be sexually aroused, things like that. So he's absolutely right. In our clinics, we usually start with just testosterone therapy, and then we will see at week 6 to 8 when we redo the labs if you are what's called aromatizing, which is taking the TRT that you are actually absorbing and it being converted downstream into estrogen or estradiol. And unless that's happening to a large degree and your estradiol starts to creep up or E2 starts to creep up, you don't need to take an aromatase inhibitor. So not everybody should just be on an aromatase inhibitor day one.
Second mistake you can make is having too high of a dose when you first start out instead of gradually tiering up to your optimal dose.
Number 2, that is a huge thing, is that on anybody, I cannot tell the future, and no doctor nor medical provider can tell the future about how you're going to react to TRT. So starting low with your dose and then slowly ramping up to where you're taking the least amount of medication with the most optimal results is where you want to be, because you're going to be able to take it for much longer, be much healthier, and have a much less reduced side effect profile.
Both of those things I did starting out. I did 200 milligrams a week with 1 milligram of AI, and for those of you that know TRT probably can tell that I didn't have the best time. The reason I didn't feel as good is because even though I was on a significant amount of testosterone, the estrogen blocker was decreasing my estradiol levels and was making me feel even worse than if I was not on TRT. This is because, contrary to popular belief, estrogen is hugely important in feeling good as a man.
Like we talked about, good for pumps in the gym, good for actually exercising, mental clarity, good for sexual function. So if you have estrogen that's down in the dumps, you will feel like garbage and actually have even worse what's called roid rage or attitude issues when your estrogen isn't balanced with your testosterone.
These are things that I had to learn on my own through trial and error, because the doctors that I was going to at the time, even though they were trained specifically for TRT, they didn't know that estrogen was actually a good thing at that time. And now, after 5 years, I feel amazing because I'm on the right dose for me and I've learned what works for my body, not what somebody else was telling me to do. On top of that, now I own my own TRT clinic that's licensed nationwide, and we help people to avoid these pitfalls when starting their therapy. So if you're a guy out there and you have, low sex drive, you're tired all the time, you can't put on muscle, you've got stubborn belly fat, these all could be signs that you have low testosterone. So I would definitely book a call with myself and my medical team in the link in my bio.
Oh, no, book with us, don't book with this guy.
Because we might be able to take a look at your blood work and give you an individualized protocol to help you feel better. And of course, if you guys want to learn more about hormone optimization, anti-aging, biohacking, make sure you click that follow
me. But no, I really like his story because that was exactly the same story or close to it that I had. Why I wanted to even get into this field in the first place of anti-aging and hormone therapy. I ended up in the hospital during my residency 4 times within a 2 months time span. And every time I went to the hospital, they couldn't figure out anything wrong. I ended up going to my endocrinologist buddy who owned an HRT clinical practice, and he checked my testosterone level and it was 47. For those of you who don't know, the lowest part of normal is usually around 250. So I was at 47, and optimal is really between 600 to 1200. So I was so low that I didn't realize I needed TRT because I had adrenal hypogonadism and issues with that. Getting on TRT absolutely changed my life. Everything in this video is absolutely 100% right. He knows his stuff. That is a person or a company that I would trust to go to because of that. So how do you know if TRT is right for you? Well, number one, like he said, and like we're talking about, make sure you're getting your blood work done. Make sure you go to a hormone specialist or somebody who studies and has studied hormone therapy. This isn't gonna be your normal family medicine practitioner or anybody like that, because even I didn't learn anything about hormones in medical school. So check your blood work, make sure that you do all the conservative things first. There's enclomiphene, there's Clomid, there's HCG. There are ways to actually help your body try and produce testosterone before you have to go into true testosterone replacement therapy. And if those don't work, then don't be afraid to do testosterone therapy. If done right, under the supervision of a highly educated medical provider, you'll be able to do everything you used to do before. You'll feel younger, your immune system will get better, you will have better recovery in your workouts, better workouts, without having all the side effects of roid rage and pimples all over and all the side effects that people think come along with testosterone replacement therapy. So if you're having issues with your testosterone and you've tried everything to try and boost it up, hit the link in our description to book a consultation with one of my clinics. We have 19 locations in major cities across the country and we're consistently growing. So we probably have one that's close to you. We'll see you soon.